Stakeholders differ on new UTME cutoff marks. New UTME cutoff marks, blessing or curse to higher education. Following the announcement of new cutoff points by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board for higher institutions, which generated uproar in the country, some experts are calling for the reversal of the policy, just as the board explained the rationale behind the new minimum scores for admission into higher institutions. Funmi Ogundare reports. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, last week released new cutoff marks for the 2017/2018 academic session, pegging universities at 120, polytechnics and colleges of education at 100, while innovative enterprising institutes was pegged at 110. The board, however, said institutions are allowed to raise their cutoff marks above its stipulation. This decision was taken at a combined policy meeting in Abuja, on admissions into universities, polytechnics and other higher institutions in the country, where stakeholders, including vice-chancellors, rectors and provosts of higher institutions agreed that admission should close on October 15 and December 15, 2017 for first and second choice universities respectively. The meeting was also an opportunity for the board to announce that it has lifted the ban on post-unified tertiary matriculation examination, post-UTME. The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, had described as a mistake the federal government's ban on tests conducted by universities after the UTME, saying that it was banned because it had become an avenue for corruption. The JAM registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloid, said universities should not go below the minimum 120 cutoff point adopted by the meeting for admissions and called for the adoption of flexible cutoff marks for admission processes by higher institutions in the country. What JAM has done is to recommend, we will only determine the minimum, whatever you determine as your admission cutoff mark is your decision. The Senate and academic boards of universities should be allowed to determine their cutoff marks. The registrar said the board discovered over 17,160 illegally admitted students by higher institutions and that the body had regularized some of them. 30% of those in higher institutions do not take JAM or have less than the cutoff marks. In a swift reaction, some Nigerians have expressed worry about the decision, saying that it was taken without due consideration for its implication on the quality of education in the country's tertiary institutions, while some said it would further lead to a decline in the standard of education. A parent who prefers anonymity said, "So the folks who will become teachers in future can gain admission to higher institution by merely scoring 25% in the examination, 100 out of 400 marks?" The minimum marks for admission dropped from 200 to 150 and now 100. Is 50 Indiana view? The irony is that more people are now passing WAEC, so why will more people pass WAEC but marks to get into the universities are reducing? Is there any bottom again? How low can we get? The Education Rights Campaign, UC, also condemned the new cutoff marks announced by the board, saying that it lowers to outrageous levels the minimum requirement for admission into universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, while demanding an urgent reversal of the policy.